So the notes today are on tax, tip, and markup. Tax, tip, and markup. And for each of these, we will add that. They're added to the cost of whatever it is that you're purchasing. Tax, tip, and markup. So this is what it looks like when you're all done. Okay, I just made this a little bit ahead of time, but I'll just darken it in. So we're gonna have a number line here. And this will be 100%. This is our percent down the bottom. And at the top will be money. Because when we're dealing with tax, tip, and markup, we're talking about money. And this will be the cost of the item. And over here is the total cost. Total cost. And this is what we're trying to find a lot of times. Right here, what's the total cost? So an item costs a certain amount, but then you're going to have to add tax, tip, and now stores, they add markup. But for us, tax and tip is what we're dealing with. So all of this is right here. It's a percent added. So let's talk about the things that we're dealing with that's being added on. We have percent tax. That's money for the government. I'll just kind of slide this over a little bit, enlarge it. That's money for the government. Then we have a tip. Usually it's 15%. Usually it's kind of like the standard, but if they do well, you give them more than that. If they do poorly, you give them less. So we have percent tip. This is for service. Like, for example, a waiter or waitress. And then we have percent markup. Now this is what stores do. This is the money for the store. I should say stores. I should say stores money. I'll just leave store. And what that is they buy low right? And then they sell high. They buy low, then they sell high. They buy something for a certain amount, then they raise the price because that's how they make money. Okay, so these are the three things we're dealing with. Percent tax for the government. Percent tip, that's for service. Percent markup, that's the money for the stores. That's how they make a profit. They buy low and then they sell high. Kind of like stocks. Okay, we'll just do a couple of examples. But this is what you want to keep in mind. So here's our first example. And I wrote it just like you'll see it many times in textbooks, workbooks. Not a word problem, but it's, so you have $80 item. And there's a tax on it, 8.75%. I'm using this sales tax because that's what it is in our area, 8.75% in Temecula, currently, at this moment in time. It could be more by the time you're watching this. Okay, so it costs this, and then we're going to add tax. Now over to the side here, I'm just going to make a little model. Let's get a picture in our heads. So let's say this is 100%. Right? This is our percent down below. And this is their money up above. 100%. Well, you know what? We're going to be adding some tax to that. Right? And it cost $80. It's $80 and here's 100%. But you know what? There's taxes added to that. How much taxes? It's 8.75% is being added to that. So the question is, how much is this going to be? That's what we want to figure out. How much is this after 8.75%? So sliding back over here. So let's see. We have $80 plus 8.75% of 80. How do I write this as a decimal? How do I get rid of the percentage? It's going to be 0.0875 times 80. We want 80%, we want 8.75% of 80. Okay, so now we calculate this right here. And doing that with the calculator real quick, 0.8075 times 80. If you can see that okay, but the answer is 7. So basically you have 80 plus 7, right? $80 and $7. So your answer is $87. That is the total cost, $87. So basically in our model, that's what this is right here. This right here is $87. Now you don't have to make a model when we do these problems in the future. It's just so you have an illustration, a little picture in your mind. That's what it's going to cost, the total cost. Okay, well, let's do one more example. This time we'll use the same amount, $80. And you know what? It still costs the same. So this is tax, excuse me. So 8.75% tax. But on top of the tax, you want to give a tip. And let's say you give 15% tip. And this is usually what happens at restaurants, places you eat. Costs this much, you add, there's taxes to it. For the food, or for the place, there's taxes. And then there's, for the service, you're going to pay tip. And so just you have an illustration in your mind. 100% would be $80. Right? This is your money. And on the bottom, this is your percent. But we're going to add tax and tip. So you would have to add tax, and then you add the tip. Okay, and the tax is 8.75%, just like before. Sorry if it's too small. That's a percent, and then the tax is 15%. I'm sorry, the tip is 15%. So we're adding 8.75% and we're adding 15%. The question is, how much is this going to be? What is your total cost? Well, you already know this right here, right? We figured this out before. It was $7. Right? It was $7. So you know this is $7, but then you also have a tip to add. So let's go ahead and show how that's done on the calculating part. So we have $80 plus this, which is 0.0875 times 80, plus the tip, which is 15% is 0.15 of 80. Okay, so now let's just add this up. This is $80. We did this before. This is right up above $7, right? That's what the tax is. And then what about this? What's 15% of 80? That would simply be 0.15 times 80. The answer is 12. 15% of 80 is 12. Okay, and if you put that all together, 87 and 12, what's that? That's 99. So the answer is $99. $7 for the tax, $12 for the tip, and I will just put that in there. It was $12 for the tip. 80 plus 7 plus 12 is $99. Now, if you're clever, you will notice that we added 15 and 8.75. 15 and 8. That would make 23.75%. Do you notice that this right here, this number is 123.75? That's a percent. 123.75% times 80, you would end up with the same value. So again, on our first example, we're adding taxes, and it came out $7 more for tax, so that's $87. And our next example, we had tax, but also a tip, and the tip was an extra $12. So together, that makes $99. 87 and 12 is $99.